ask that. Right, you ready?
Ready.
Hello, Lucy Taylor. Hello. How are you today?
I am very good, thank you. I can hear the birds, the sun is out, it's a good day.
There we go. Isn't
Hey.
that
I'm
lovely?
That reminds me of Finding Nemo, like, the sun is shining, the tank is clean. The tank is clean.
Instant throw in with Disney Pixar there.
Yeah.
Disney Pixar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which just reminds us of all those lovely parties.
Classic.
But going to the very beginning, Lucy
Yep.
Taylor, when did you join SIYT?
I've had to look this up because I actually didn't know. But I joined in 2010 and I was in year 11, right at the start of year 11. Long
So it's
time ago.
quite late in regards to when some people join, isn't it, in year 11?
Yeah, really late. I just didn't think I had it in me, if I'm honest. And yeah, I didn't think I had it in me. Like, I did loads of dance. I love theatre and I'm very theatrical, but I just didn't think I was like good enough to go into theatre. And then Liam Loftus, actually, I was chatting to him loads because he was one of my best friends at school, and he was like, "You have to come to youth theatre." And then a couple of other people had said it, and then I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll audition. I'll go for it." But then I was also worried about like exams and all that kind of stuff. But then I realised I actually didn't care that much, so I auditioned.
Excellent.
My audition was I've never been more nervous for anything in my whole entire life as I was for my youth theatre audition, like being deadly serious. I was so nervous. I remember a few of the girls from my year were practicing their audition songs in the toilets at the rec centre in St Ives, and I just didn't know what to sing because I don't think I'm not a confident singer. I don't think I'm a very good singer, and I thought, well, you can't be in musical theatre if you can't sing, and it was like a real big stress for me. And I remember like literally being really upset about it. And then they just said, well, just sing a song you like. So I sung, what did I sing? I sang Hannah Montana, You Get the Best of Both Worlds.
Yes.
Iconic.
In my audition. And I remember thinking, like, is that for a musical? And I was like, it's for a musical show.
Yeah.
All the
I love
musicals
that.
I loved were like from amazing singers. And I was like, well, I don't want to sing a song that's really amazing and like sound like Dying Cat.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's valid. I think that's a great song choice.
I also remember there was a monologue. You picked 3 monologues, and everyone picked the one about the cat, and I picked the slightly darker one.
Oh.
And I think I was the only one in our circle who picked the darker one.
Look at you, breaking away from the norm.
I know, yeah, always.
Good advice. Break away from the norm, though. It's good advice.
So, Lucy, what was your favourite show that St Ives Youth Theatre did, or you were in?
You know what? I like a lot of shows for like different reasons.
Go
So
on,
I
tell
remember
us.
When I first joined, you were doing Jenny's End, which is obviously an all-male production, so I couldn't be a part of that. But then I remember on the last night we all came out and like read out the names of the people in St Ives, I think, and Huntingdon that had like died, and that was amazing, and we got involved. But I remember like helping backstage and like being however support I can. And then I remember the next play was Midsummer Night's Dream. I also didn't get a part in that, cry. But I remember a bit like needing to be involved. I was like, oh, I'm going to be involved in any way that I can. So I did all the makeup for the fairies, which I loved. And I remember every night Ellie was in that, and she every night wanted me to stay backstage and sit with her because she got like bored because it was like quite a long play. And every night I was like, no, sorry, I'm going to watch it because it's such a good show. And so I watched it every single night in the audience. Wow. Which that was actually one of my favourite shows because I wasn't even like in it, but I loved it so much. And then I absolutely loved Shakers because it was the first time I'd got to do like I was a main part, and there was only 4 of us, and Ellie was in it, and we just really got to like experiment with like physical theatre, and we sort of like had loads of rehearsals for sort of how short the play is. So we got to like go a bit crazy in rehearsals and do things and spark ideas that actually never got used in the show. But it was a really fun way of like really creative process that you don't always get to do at youth theatre because sometimes time's quite tight. And I think it was really fun to do like that much physical theatre and like get to play all these different characters. And I think it turned out really well. And I think it's like one of like probably my favourite play that I've been in. Yeah,
because we did Front of House for those 2 plays, and it was fantastic to see a production where it must have been the first production we did where it was all female cast. We obviously done Jenny's End with an all male, so it's 4 of you putting on an amazing show, and like I enjoyed it, everyone else enjoyed it, and I think as you said, it's something that you can be a bit more creative with. You can do different things because you're a small cast. You can experiment it with a bit more, can't you?
Yeah, and it was just funny. Like, I didn't think I was funny. Like, I always thought, and obviously, like, I was down on myself. I don't mean to be down. Like, I can't sing. I didn't think I was funny. So I was like, okay, well, I can only do like dark stuff then, you know. And then when we did that, they took sort of a chance on me being able to be funny, and I found out that I actually was quite funny. And that is like, there's no better feeling than making an audience laugh.
Yeah.
And like, you work off the audience, and that was amazing.
Yeah. And I think it proved in your later roles as well.
Yeah, and then from that, like, Tyler obviously thought I was funny, and then he gave me like a comedy role, and then the in Greece, which was like so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely loved being Patty Simcox.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, that's one of my favourite roles for you. I mean, that was great. I just love working off you for that show. And there's a couple of really great pictures of me and you in that show. Of you just being like.
Again, that one was quite like physical, and you know, in the script even it doesn't say that it's that a physical role, but because she's not really in the film, and a lot of people are very accustomed to the film, it was sort of a character that comes out of nowhere, and people don't really understand where it's come from. So you have the complete freedom to sort of amp it up as much as you want, and I sort of definitely went with that.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and doing like scenes with you, Pete, was so funny. Like, definitely went OTT, but it was great fun.
Oh, it's so much fun. We had so much fun. Yeah, great roles.
But that's the sort of thing that is quite good with people that you know as well. Obviously, sometimes you can get to a point where the laughter comes in too much. But if you're bouncing off each other because you know each other so well, like, you can make scenes so much better, 10 times, 20 times better.
Yeah, and I think it was quite nice as well because, like, I did know Peter really well, and so I didn't feel as self-conscious to like make, you know, like ugly faces or whatever, because like the teenagers playing those roles like can be quite difficult, and I think, you know, you can be quite self-conscious, but with someone you know and you've done shows with them before, it's like quite easy to sort of experiment with like your face, and you don't embarrass yourself, and then you can see what works and what doesn't work. Yeah,
I was just going to say, just jumping back to the point you were talking about Shakers, because obviously Sam's just directed a two-hander, which is, you know, the first time we've done a two-hander that I'm aware of, and like Shakers, I think was the first time we did we ever did a really properly small cast, like a 4-person cast. So like, how did you find that? Because that must have been a really, really intense environment, because you've only got 4 people to kind of bounce off of, and you know, were there ever any like issues with people getting annoyed at each other or anything like that? Because that's, you know, it's not many people, you know, in a cast like Grease, you've got the whole chorus line, you can go off and be with lots of different people if, you know, someone's getting on your nerves or whatever, but with that there
was never any tension. No, it was really like, it was really positive, like, because there was, you know, I knew Ellie really well, but I didn't necessarily know Frankie, who directed it with Jess, that well. Like, we've been youth together, but I'd never had that much one-on-one time with her. And I think we'd rehearse for like 45 minutes, and then we'd have 15 minutes just like actually getting to know each other. And that was like such a bonding experience, especially for like all women. And a lot of the topics in Shakers are like quite grown-up topics. You know, they really talk about things that are very women-based issues, and we would sort of talk about our own experiences with these issues, and it was like really, really like really positive, like very I don't know the right word, but a really positive way for us all to bond. But I don't think there was ever any issues, because we'd have solo rehearsals where we'd work on our monologues, and then we would come back after like a week and we'd all listen to each other's monologues, and we'd be like, oh my god, that sounds amazing, or work on that. It was very much like a to and fro process.
How beneficial was that for your confidence doing that kind of show?
Oh, massively. Like, I only started enjoying plays like more and more after Shakers, I would say, because you just got to let loose and you just got to go a bit like crazy, and I'm like quite a high energy person, and I feel like a lot of plays can sometimes suppress energy. It's like, you know, like, if they're not as physical, and yeah, I just got to go a bit crazy, which was great for me. And I think from that I then learned how to rein it in, because sometimes you've got to go big to then sort of rein it in and like be a smaller character.
All the time,
exactly
all the time.
That.
Go big and then get reined in all the time. But actually, on another, what was I going to say? No, it's gone. Oh, right, because you were saying about being funny, and I think that's something, because obviously like youth there's loads of improv. So I'm going way off piece here from probably like question topics, but for me, I remember something that I was very fearful of initially when I got to youth theatre was being funny in the improvs, because everyone thinks improv's about being funny, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, but that's kind of how they often go at youth theatre, and that's fine. It's it's a great thing, but so I think I get what my point is. It's you've just got to like let go of it, right? I'm sure that must have been what made you get over that kind of thing where you were conscious about being funny, and then, like you say, after Shakers, you were able to kind of be like, oh, I can be funny and I can do this. So like, I don't know, what was kind of like the process of getting over that? Because I think that's a big wall for a lot of people. I think.
Yeah, massive wall, and it's still a wall that sometimes creeps up now as an adult, and I'm like go away, like I don't want that. So, especially for like me when I first joined youth theatre, improv was dominated, and I mean you guys will know this too, was dominated by like a smaller group of people, I would say, because they were hilarious. So you were like scared to go in, and that's not their fault. They were just naturally funny. So I would be the one that's watching, and I don't like that. Like I don't like to be an observer to anything. I want to get involved, but that fear really holds you back. And then sort of with Shakers, I remember reading the script and being like, oh, this is funny. Like I'm really gonna have to oversell this. So I'm just like, I don't know how. I just put it to one side and just did it, because I thought you can either go hard and sort of be quite funny but fall on your feet a little bit, or you can give no energy and at least then people say you didn't even try, and that's worse.
Yeah.
And I think the good thing about rehearsals as well is that youth theatre is a supportive atmosphere. So if you do something that's then not funny, you'll know quite quickly, but no one will tell you in a horrible way. Like you just won't get a laugh, and then you're like, okay, well next time I won't do that as well. And then you learn from it, and it's like a supportive atmosphere. Yeah. But you have to sort of understand that it is supportive.
Yeah, and a youth theatre is the perfect place to to flop. If a joke flops, then you just it's fine. It's a supportive environment.
And it's not like school.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to hold it over you. Like it's supportive. It's everyone, and if more people had the courage to do that, then everybody else would do it, and then it's like we'd all flop together. A supportive flop.
Yeah.
Supportive flop.
But what's that? That's a Chicken Run quote. Birds of a feather flop together.
You're throwing out all the quotes, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just sponsored by animation.
Yeah, I think so. So, Lucy, I imagine you've got a fair few. But what are your favourite moments?
So, the trip to Eam was definitely one of my favourites, because that was the first summer production I was there. And it was quite a very serious play. Like it wasn't comedy, it was very dark. It was really good and it was really fun. I loved the music. But I would say during rehearsals were quite a somber atmosphere. Just because it was a dark play. And then we went to Eam, and I just remember we all just bonded loads, on the ride up there, because it was in Derbyshire, so it's miles away. And then we just got there, and we were supposed to be learning about all this plague, quite harrowing stuff. But you sort of take a bunch of teenagers to a field and sort of banter assures. And it was just really fun, and it was a sort of bonding experience to everyone. Everyone who was sort of had a main part, but then also all sort of the minor more characters like me, got to just sort of explore and get to know everyone. And even the younger ones were talking because you have to be. It was so hot, and we had to go on that massive walk up the hill to get to the well, and everyone was sort of chatting to everyone. And I remember just feeling really happy after that trip. I'd made the best friends, It was sort of you take youth theatre people out of a rehearsal room and see if they still get along. And it was you get along even better. And that was a great experience to know that you got best friends from something.
Oh,
including
nice.
you.
Oh, that was synchronised. I'll see if I can get a beach ball and us hitting a beach ball away. I don't know if my editing skills are that good, but I'll give it.
One of my other really favourite memories is, and this might surprise you, it's after the pie fight.
Right. Okay.
It wasn't. I loved the pie fight. The pie fight was great, and Finn literally walloped me in the face with a pie. But it was afterwards. I remember we all went home, got showered, and then came back, and it was the best atmosphere because you'd all just throwing pies at each other.
Yeah.
Which is weirdly therapeutic. And I just remember the atmosphere at that rehearsal afterwards was like golden, and all of us were just in like the best spirits, and we all just like sat outside for ages, and I think we all reeked of cream a little bit.
Yeah. Did we do a rehearsal after the pie fight? Is that what happened?
Yeah, because I remember we all like stood outside the corner. What was it called?
Broadleys.
Broadleys. We were stood outside Broadleys, and we were all like chatting about it. And I just remember that rehearsal had like the best energy. So maybe we should try it now.
Every rehearsal, when the kids come in, just a pie to their face. Yeah.
I feel like
I wonder if
I think it would definitely release some steam if they got to pie the directors in the face before every rehearsal.
It released more steam for me.
Yeah.
Any other favourite moments?
I mean, obviously, there's like things that happen outside of youth theatre that you're still with people, which are amazing. Like,
go on, tell us tiny bits of these things.
The Disney party.
Disney party.
When Peter made the best Rafiki costume that's ever been.
No.
And every time someone used to go to the toilet, you literally were like, Rafiki, show you the way.
Yeah, you follow Rafiki. He show you the way.
It was also like, so I remember like was really into like musical theatre, like show tunes, like massively into it. But none of my friends were, like they were all like, you know, into music, whatever. Yeah. And
good genre.
Yeah, no. At parties, you could like put on Les Mis, or you could put on Avenue Q, or you know not any, but a lot of show tunes, and you'd be in a room with 20 people who all knew them with you, and that is like the best feeling in the world. Yeah. Just like immediately having people that you can like sing songs to that you before then have just sung them alone in your room. Any party where like we could sing and dance together was great.
I mean, me and Sam were talking about this actually the other day. That you know, like we'd like quite often after like a Thursday, even just after like a Thursday night, we'd go back to your house afterwards and you know just hang there for an extra hour, just like chatting, or you probably put on some music or something. You know, I mean, obviously you had the benefit of having a house that was just occupied by yourself and your sister, but you know, no parents to rule the roost, but. Still, like you know, it was just like all those little memories that you know that kind of just bonded like a whole group of us really.
And you know what I think was different for our group that's different now, and I don't think either one's better. I just think it was different. Is that we didn't go to the same school.
No.
So we weren't like school friends that come youth theatre friends. Like they were still quite separate. So like youth theatre would be like the only time we'd really get to see each other, and then so that time afterwards like was really bonding, and then we wouldn't go to school on Friday and like spend the whole day together. We would just spend youth theatre together, and I think that was so lovely. Like it was so nice to have friends that didn't know you from school.
Even just looking at us, you know, Hinch and Brooks and Peters and Ivo, and then also you know different years there, and you know. Coming together.
Making memories. Speaking of big memories, I'd somewhat describe you as the queen of memories, queen of nostalgia, queen of reminiscing, or whatever title you want to take, mainly because of your video that you made for Leavers in 2013. I can see you're already a little bit sad about that.
I watched it the other day and I sent it to Ellie, and we were just like so sad. Like not sad, but it brings up this weird part between you where you want to cry because you miss everyone so much, but you're also like smiling the whole time because every moment of that video, like all the pictures, all the videos, everything, is just like so happy. It's like that perfect balance.
Yeah.
I mean, I shared it. Can't remember when. It must have been like a month or so ago. And it was mainly to inspire them to have that same sort of thing, because you took a lot of your time out to film people like saying all these wonderful stuff, and then you made sure that you had all the pictures and everything ready together, just about obviously making a lovely video together. But it's taken that extra time out to ensure that these people they know that you think about them and you know that they're special to you as well.
And you know what, like youth theatre is like so special. Like it really is like a really special place. To do drama as well, which is amazing because I love theatre. You know, I don't think I'd be who I am today without doing that much theatre as like a teenager. But also like friendships, and you really learn how to be friends with people. I think and you learn how to support people when they're nervous to go on stage, and then you feel that joy with them when they come off stage and they're really happy. And that's like a really human experience, which I think youth theatre gives you that often I don't think school gives you that experience as much.
I feel like that's But I mean, because like and school and where other no disrespect to any other youth groups or youth theatres, but with youth theatre you've got you go through the bonding experiences of doing shows and doing trips for shows and all that kind of stuff. But then you also have the consistency of meeting up every Thursday as well. That kind of it just kind of ties the whole thing together. Where lots of times with other outside groups, you join together to do one thing and then it's over and that's it. There's no more. And whereas with youth, you've got that.
It's also like I think a lot of speaking for someone who doesn't do sports, doesn't enjoy sports, they're always quite competitive, right? Whereas and maybe you're on a sports team, but like youth theatre isn't as competitive. It's very much like a supportive unit. So you're you're shown support and then you have to give support, and that's like amazing. And to feel supportive as a teenager when you are like for lack of a better word, anxious and self-conscious, and you have all these people around you who are normally quite similar, but if not similar, but you have a shared interest. That's so important.
I think that's a really good. That's such a good point. Like, there's never. I certainly never remember, other than probably Greece, where I kind of wouldn't have mind Danny. But other than that, I remember going to every single audition for that I went to with youth theatre, and never thinking like, oh, I really want this role, or I really want this role. It was just like to just go, and it didn't matter. Yeah. Like if I got a role, I was like, oh, great, that's awesome, that's really really cool. I'm really excited and like feel honoured and whatever to get that role. But there was never like there's never like that sort of sense of like, oh, these three boys are going up for, I don't know, Lysander in Midsummer Night's Dream or whatever. There was that I never remember feeling like that. It was just supportive. Everyone went to audition and you all got given roles, and that's really cool. And
Yeah, and I never at one point was I like jealous of somebody else's role. I was like, oh my god, they're going to do amazing at that because they are so that person. I've been given this role and I'm going to shine at this role. And it was always the experience that whether you're a lead role or not, you were having a good time. Because the rehearsals are very all encompassing, and I think Tyler and all those people did an amazing job of making every single person in the production feeling really important. And I think you guys do the same now. Like when I come and watch shows and I talk to the guys afterwards, like no matter what role they've had, they've come out like grinning from ear to ear, and that's the same as what we felt.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's so important because Peter's obviously done like assistant directing for a few years and a few productions, and then he's taken one this year. And I think we've agreed every time that we spoke about this, like we want to give them the same experience that we had. And it is that supportive, it is that sort of confidence builder as well.
One second.
Okay.
Bear with.
Bear with you. Lucy Taylor, let's talk about Edinburgh, the Fringe Festival, and your memories from that.
It was so much fun. Like the whole thing was very crazy, life-changing, like busy, and just so fun. Like so fun. There's no part of those weeks, because I did one as a member and then I came back and helped a couple of years later. There's no moment from any of those weeks that like weren't fun. I just loved it. I loved Edinburgh so much. It's like it's my favourite city in the world, I would say, from the Fringe and from other times I've been. And it's just, if you love theatre and you love youth theatre, it's like a great experience because we got to watch so many plays, good and bad, and then you get to like be in a play, which is great. And I had like the smallest part, and there are no small parts, but I did have a really small part in what I want to say. Like I think my monologue was like 5 lines long, and it basically was I like black.
Oh,
I remember that one. Yeah.
See, it's an iconic monologue.
Yeah.
It is. You know what? Ellie always says it to me. But like, I love watching everybody else's, and I love doing it myself. Like, because that play is really important because all of the monologues can be really small, and then you'll make something big. So it's very much like all of us coming together.
Yeah.
And mine wasn't particularly funny or like poignant, but it was still like one of those important things that those kids had to say. That so that's why it was good. But almost like when I think about Edinburgh, I almost don't think about the performing. I think about going to see all the other theatre and the comedy and being introduced to sort of style of plays that I wouldn't have watched before. Whereas like now I go into like West End to like go see plays of that style because I like it so much.
You get given quite a bit of freedom, really. I appreciate for the younger ones, there's a little bit less freedom because they have to go around with an adult and stuff. But you do get given, as a sort of teenager, not as a teen, as 16, 17 year old or 18-year-old or whatever. You get given quite a bit of freedom with the Fringe to go off and explore and see, a whole bunch of different things, and that's it's a very exciting experience, isn't it?
I remember that week was probably one of the biggest weeks of my life, like in terms of experiences. Like we went to the Fringe, which was incredible, and performed at the Fringe. I turned 18 that week, so it was my birthday, and we got our like university results. So it was like a triple thread of like massive life experiences. And we finished youth theatre that week. Like that was our leaving. So it was like, I remember it was like a crazy time, like of emotions, and I was like so happy because I got into like my dream university, but I also was like absolutely gutted because I just had the best week with all of my best friends, and like it was never going to sort of be the same again. Like, and you'd sort of already had that experience at school because you'd say goodbye to your school friends because we were just, it was a good week. It was fun, and I remember like everyone was really supportive when we all got our results, which was great.
I think it's another level when when you leave after Fringe, because you've obviously got loads of people who haven't had that sort of experience, and people had it with What I Want to Say, they've had it with Vision, they've had it with So I've Heard, and it's obviously I didn't have that experience, but from what I've heard, it's a step up in emotion.
Yeah, it really was. I remember us running down Princess Street to get the bus on like the last night or something, and I just have a memory of us legging it, and I remember just like thinking the whole time, like, how is it going to get better than this in life? Like, this is the best I've ever felt. And I'm not a runner, so for me to think that is shocking.
It's like a movie sort of thing, isn't it? It's like inner monologue like coming out as well as you're running for a bus.
It's like been a good time when you think about something, you just like have flashes of like experiences, and it just feels like a monologue. That's what Edinburgh feels like to me. Like, just the best of times.
Yeah.
I just get flashes, like even little things. Like I remember getting that pulled pork, and like everyone was getting that pulled pork, and I'm a vegetarian now, and I still remember that as like a great moment. So like that must have been good.
It is good, and I have it every time I'm there.
Yeah, that's it.
And then after Fringe, what was life post youth theatre? Tell us about what's happened to you since.
I went to university in Bournemouth Uni, and studied TV production. And funnily, actually, I went to be part of their drama club, but their first play was Grease. And I remember like sitting in the auditions, and I was like, I don't know if I can do any more shawadi-waddies. Like I just done Grease with youth theatre, and I was like, can I do it? I don't know if I can do it. And then I sat in the audience, and they were like, who are you going to audition for? And I was like, Patty Simcox. And I remember I was like, I know it because I've just done it. And they were like, oh, amazing. And I was in the audition, and I remember I was like, I'm really sorry, but I actually don't think I can do this. Yeah. And I left because I was like, and that was the end of my theatre life. It was like, I can't do Grease again. Like I just couldn't.
Too much for you, was it?
It was too much. Like I just didn't want to taint it either.
Yeah.
It was like what if my Danny wasn't as good as Peter?
Oh,
there we go. Nobody can though.
Nobody can be.
John Travolta, nobody. He's a nobody compared.
Yeah, so I did TV, which was really fun. I sort of known I'd wanted to do it for like years and years and years, and Bournemouth was like my top choice uni, and when I got that in Edinburgh, I was absolutely buzzing. Went there, had a really good time, learned a lot. I came out of it and then sort of just started working in TV, like as a production route, so like the paperwork, logistical side of it, which is very important. So if I don't get to make like creative decisions, really. I worked on like loads of different shows, like Hunted, Chris Ramsey show, lots of variations until I figured out what I wanted to do. But I've always loved food. Like, that's like my big thing is food. Love cooking it, love eating it, love watching it. And then I got a job at Jamie Oliver Productions, and I've worked there for like 2 years, basically on and off, which is quite a long time. I also worked on Animal Park at Longleat Safari Park, which was amazing because animals and food are like two of the best things in the world. It's really fun. Like, I really like my job. I get to do like really cool things and go to places which are really, really cool and watch food all day, which is great. Eat a lot. I learned a lot about making pasta. So if everyone wants a lesson, let me know.
So let's talk about working on a TV production, like
Sure.
ins and outs of it. Like for people who have no idea what it's like in that sort of industry, like what do you expect?
It's tough to get in. Like, it is tough. Like, I came back. I'd gone away for the summer after I finished uni, and then I came back, and it's really tough because they always joke about how it's not what you know, it's who you know in TV, and that's the same whether you want to work in film, feature films, drama, like high-end dramas like The Crown or whatever. It's sort of who you know, and I didn't know anyone. Like, I literally didn't know anyone, and then I got some work experience on Good Morning Britain and Lorraine, which was fun. But I sort of, at that point, realised that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't like that type of TV. And then after that, it's just sort of scrambling for work as much as you can, like emailing loads of people, showing passion. You've got to be very ready to, like, get down and, like, with, like, as a runner, as your first jobs in TV, it's sort of like making tea, talking to people, trying to, like, get as much information as possible. And that's something that you have to have confidence for, which is great because youth theatre gives you loads of confidence to talk to loads of people. If you can walk into like a Thursday rehearsal and like chat to everyone in the room, whether you're sort of best friends with them or you've only like met them once, that's sort of a great confidence start. And yeah, like, it's fun. It's just it's very crazy. It's very busy, the TV industry, and it is a tough industry, but it's so fun. Like, it's very much similar to sort of youth theatre. Is like you have a team. Like, most TV shows have a very small team that work on them always. They sort of, get other people throughout the filming to grow and get smaller, but the base team is quite small. But it's very all-encompassing, so you get to know people a lot, and especially if you sort of go on location with them, you get very close to them, which is like a bit like youth theatre. But it is fun, like, in this. So I don't do the creative side, like, I'm very much the logistics, but I still have an input for the creative stuff. I still get to watch the TV shows when they're in the edit and sort of point out things and give help. But I mean, it's never normally listened to, but give some stuff. But if you want to go down that creative side, like TV, there's so much variation in what you can work on. Like, you can work on factual stuff, like documentaries, or I work in mainly factual entertainment, so it's sort of stuff that entertains you but also has some sort of information base to it. And if you want to work on that kind of stuff, that's great fun.
I imagine it's a similar sort of feeling, going from this sort of initial idea and then all the way to seeing that end product, like, on the telly. Do you watch the shows that you're in as well?
Always
you're a part of?
Always watch them.
So what is that sort of like timeline like for you? Is it similar to theatre?
It depends on the show. So when I worked on Hunted, I was a production runner, so I was in the office for the Fugitive team, which is like the ones that are on the run. And we filmed that in March, and that didn't go out until January the next year.
Oh, wow.
So it can be a really long time, but then also you can work on a show. So when I worked on Animal Park, we filmed that in October, and that went out at the end of November. So that was like a really quick turnaround. But it's still that feeling, like when you finish a shoot, and when I work on Friday Night Feast, which is set on Southend Pier, you're there for a whole month of like a chunk of time with these 60 people crew, and you spend like all day with them, you have dinner with them, you stay in this big hotel with them, and it's like a really bonding experience. And then when you finish it, you're relieved because you can actually sleep, but you're also like absolutely gutted. It's very similar, sort of like an after show feeling. And then you go back to work the next day to clear up. But it's good fun. It's definitely a similar high to what you get from theatre. I think, yeah, I don't get it as much because I'm normally there for a bit of after we stop filming, because I have to do the clear out paperwork wise. I think for like the researchers and the producers and stuff, I think they definitely sort of get a low after it.
And so, do you have any advice for our current members?
Get involved as much as possible, because you'll regret it if you don't, and you learn so much from it that the more you get involved, the more you take from it. The more experiences you get, the more fun you have, the more friendships you come out with. Don't be scared. Like, don't feel like, oh, everyone's going to laugh at me, because everyone's thinking that, or at least most people are thinking that. And if everyone went for it, then I think everyone would be more confident. And it is a really amazing place to like make friendships and sort of explore who you are. And just enjoy it, because it doesn't last forever, and then it's sad.
Oh, see, there we go. Yeah. Queen of nostalgia.
I am very nostalgic as a person. But yeah, it's good. We love SIYT, and it will forever be like the biggest part of my heart.
Oh,
SIYT fan.
So deep.
there we go. So deep. Is there before we end this, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, and it's also like the longevity of friendships. I think it's very impressive. You know, like Peter, you like came to visit me at uni.
Yeah.
Like that's mental. That was like a year after we left uni. Okay, Sam.
Sam's gonna, because I never went to visit Sam at uni, despite him asking maybe about 30 times.
But like you came with like, Ellie, Finn, Liam. Like that was so fun. Like that's amazing.
Probably did help that Liam drove. That was that was probably a big thing as to why it was that much easier to come to. Well, I'm talking about for Sam because I didn't go visit Sam. Not
backtracking. It's fine. I'm only teasing you.
Because I can just see Sam looking very disappointed.
Another really funny memory was actually when I can't remember what show it was in between. I think it was Eam.
It would have been after Eam, surely.
Anyway, we went to Hunstanton on a beach trip. We were sort of at that age where people were starting to be able to drive, and it was like, where can we go that's going to be really fun? And Hunstanton on a coldish day was the answer to that. And I remember it was sort of like most people from like the upper end of youth theatre, and there was definitely people on that like trip that I hadn't spoken to much at youth theatre really. I remember that trip we definitely sort of bonded. And I remember you, Peter, went skimboarding. You bought your skimboard.
I did.
And you did not do it well, I remember. Didn't Emily Byrne do it and fall in the water?
He's not happy.
I'm sorry. I didn't do it well.
As I remember, we'd seen videos of you doing it, and you were amazing.
Right, I'm feeling a little bit hurt here. I can't remember. I probably didn't do it very well, to be fair. But yeah, Emily did it, and she got a massive. Like I remember, she had a huge bruise and like maybe even a bit of a scrape on her thigh or something from it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just remember I remember vividly us in the black room, whatever that room is at the behind thing, walking in and like. I don't know who it used to be. They used to play the piano, but someone used to play Avenue Q on the piano like every day. Tom
Merson, yeah.
Tom Merson, classic Tom.
And he would always be playing like Avenue Q on the piano, and everyone would know the words. Like most of us would know the words, and we'd all just like be around it singing it, and it was like just great.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic moments. And there was a big old flashback when we did Legally Blondes, and then. Wheeled the piano out. Tom was playing, and we all like singing all these songs as well. And it's that sort of vibe. And there's so many videos of dinners where I've scrolled like all of the youth theatre related pages and seen so many different like songs. I saw like a video of us doing Hakuna Matata, and all of us literally just going, having a great time.
Where is that?
I'll find it.
I want to find that. I want to see that.
I'll throw it.
That video of us singing Wonderwall on the Bugsy Malone set as well is like, just like my heart like grows when I watch that video.
Why is that video?
We sang loads of songs.
Yeah, but where's that video?
Like a party.
Yeah, I remember it. Where's the video?
I've got it.
Oh,
have you?
Fire it over.
There's just so many memories, and when I come watch youth theatre now, I genuinely feel like I'm like 100% a part of it. Like, I don't feel like I'm a random audience member just coming to watch a bunch of kids on stage. Like, I'm very, like, proud of, like, SIYT. And even, like, afterwards when I, like, chat to, like, the guys in it, I'm very much, like, I feel like I am a member still. Yeah. Just a slightly older member.
You never truly leave.
You don't leave. You never leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't.
Yeah, Sam just hasn't ever left.
Part of the furniture.
Thanks so much for joining us, Lucy.
Oh wait, let dog get fix my hair.
Right, okay.
I'm moving my hair.
Cool. Thanks so much for joining us, Lucy.
Thank you, Lucy. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.